Aloha familia, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ireland Clark, your consciousness coach. We have our amazing guest back, my padre, my father, Dan Clark, to bring us some amazing insights. I'm super excited for this transmission. If you're coming on in, please put a like on the video. It really helps the algorithms. And if you aren't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button for more quantum consciousness, multidimensional conversations. And we're gonna go ahead and just bring on my dad. Welcome. Dad, how are you doing?
Good, Ireland. How you doing? Thanks for having me back on. Looking forward to sharing this talk with you today. It sounds exciting.
I'm excited. We're going to be talking about really transmuting, leaving behind these old, denser timelines and activating our true inner alchemy. That's really what we want to give you guys today so that you can move into glory and greater glory into your life. So, Dad, how do we really do that? How do we really access our true alchemy? How do we move out of these old timelines? What have you really found that has worked, the best, or insights, awareness? We would love to hear it.
Yeah, what I've found is I've always liked the word alchemy. A lot of people, it scares, what is alchemy? And when you look up alchemy, there's lots of esoteric writings on it. It's salt, it's water, it's transmuting lead into gold. And there's all these like ancient formulas and, all this stuff. And it's kind of freaky. So the word alchemy kind of freaks out a lot of people. But I've always loved it. And I thought, what is it? What is it really? What is alchemy? And like you said, Ireland, it's the transformation of, to me, what I've seen in my life from powerlessness to powerful. And I believe the world needs the powerful right now, and we were meant to be powerful. And here's what the Spirit told me just a little while ago. It said the same Spirit that woke you up will not abandon you, but will quicken you and take you from glory to greater glory. So we're not abandoned after we wake up. And I guess I wanted to talk about the movie The Matrix, okay? We were actually better off asleep in the Matrix. We didn't know what was going on. And I know on your show, we talked earlier on your, what was it called, Patreon. A lot of people says, I woke up, now what? I'm powerless. I've been abused. I realize I've lost a huge part of my life behind, like I did with religion. 40 years I've left behind. And so, how do we get that back? Now, there is a promise in the Bible, and it says that I, God, will give you back what the locusts have eaten. What that means is locusts can go in and level a whole field, a whole crops. They can come in and just swoop down and level it. Well, God says, I will give you back what the locusts have eaten. How does that happen? That happens through alchemy. Alchemy. We've got to transcend this lower nature. And for me and a lot of people on your show, we've been dumbed down. We've been dumbed down by religion. We've been dumbed down by politics. We've been dumbed down by medicine and pharmaceutical. We've been dumbed down. We've been told by religion, you're nothing but dirty rags. You're this, you're that. You were born bad. Women were born bad. And so we've had a shitload of programming to make us feel everything but what God intended us to be. Because in the same Bible, it says, what I made was good and very good. So it's what we focus on. So what I realized was I wanted to find out. One day I heard this thing. Jesus said, these things and greater you'll do. And I'm not trying to preach the Bible. I'm just saying that's a master. And he said, these things and greater you will do. And I know Angela said the same thing. That was stuck in her head for a long time. Why would a master say, don't marvel at what I'm doing? Because the things that I'm doing, these and greater you'll do. So I was like everybody else. I woke up out of the Matrix, okay? The Matrix was religion for me, 40 years of being dumbed down, 40 years of following 8 men, 40 years of following men I never met, some organization somewhere in New York that was running every part of my life. So I woke up at 40. And like I said, the same Spirit that woke me up has a plan for me and has a plan for you. The same Spirit that woke you up will not abandon you. In fact, it wants to quicken you. And I just want to reiterate that. Now, when you first wake up, you kind of are angry. You're angry. You're like, man, these people stole 40 years of my life. Oh my God. And they're still stealing and they're still lying and they're still going on. And so there's this anger about, and it's kind of a victim. It's kind of a place of victim, right? And
Yes.
that's okay early on. It's okay early on to be hurt. It's okay early on to tell your story. It's when you've been telling your story as a victim for 20 years, you're still telling it like it was yesterday. And I started to fall into that. So I want to get into the alchemy now. So I started to fall into where I started to love my story. I love telling people about, you have no idea what happened to me. And people say, what happened to you, Dan? And I'd say, oh my God, I was a Jehovah's Witness. Oh, and they go, oh man, I bet you that was tough. You guys didn't do birthdays and you didn't, oh man, it was worse than that, dude. Oh my God, it was way worse. It was this, it was that. And oh my God. So anyway, I got real good at telling my story, right? And I got some healing, but finally somebody came along who was a little bit further along than me and looked me in the eye and she said, Dan, I hear you. I feel you. I understand it was painful. And it was, right? Losing 40 years of your life, never celebrating Christmas, birthdays, not getting to visit my other part of my family because my religious said I couldn't. That hurts. It's painful. But damn it, if you stay there, you're dead. If you stay in a victim state, if you start falling in love with your story, when you start making your story the last chapter in your book, you're done for. And so I had a lady that had the courage to look me in the eye. And she said, Dan, I understand that was painful. I am so sorry that happened to you. And then she said, do you want to stay here or do you want to get better? And I went, first thing is, how dare you? You have no idea, bitch, what I've been through. You know what I'm saying, Arlen?
Yes. Yes.
Like, you have no idea. And you want to tell it again. Now, when you listen to victims, I had a lady, I'm going to just tell you, I had a lady call me the other day, and she had a story about trafficking, and I'm like, wow. She said she had been trafficked and she's still trafficked and, whatever, right? And Ireland, for about, I don't know, 3 months, she would call and I would just listen. Me and Angela would just listen. And we'd say, tell me what happened. Okay, listen carefully. I'm going to tell you every detail. I mean, this went on for 3 hours. And we go, oh man, I'm so sorry. Okay. And then she'd go, right? Well, the other day, because she has fallen in love with her story to another degree, she was arguing with me. She wanted to beat me up because I wouldn't listen to her story. You ain't listening to me. You are not listening. Okay. Tell me again what happened to you, which is what she's told me for the last 6 months. So she's like, here's what happened. Now listen to me. Pay attention to what I'm telling you. You hear me? And I'm like, yeah. And so she started telling me, and it was the same thing. And I said, yeah. And she goes, no, you ain't hearing me. That's how sick we can get with our story. That's how we stay in powerlessness. That's how we say victim leads to powerless. Yes, we were all victims. Yes, we've all had our lives stolen from us, whether it's religion, whatever it is, trafficking, people watching us, whatever it is. But if we continue to focus on that part of our story, on that part that says I was screwed and nobody else was, this happened to, we're done for. We're done for. And, you had mentioned earlier in your Patreon about, what was it? Being a victim. You had mentioned about, what the hell was it? Oh, the inner child. Yeah, a lot of times we don't know we're being a victim. A lot of times we need somebody to do like that lady told me, right? Hey, Dan, I understand you and I love you, but do you want to stay there where you're at? Do you want to stay stuck? Is that all you want to do is tell your story? Well, there was this inner child journey that came to this church I was in. It was a New Thought church. And I looked at everybody and everybody could see what I didn't see. They saw trauma on my face. They saw lostness. And so somebody from the outside mirrored back to me and I said, what do you think about that inner child journey? You need to go. And I was like, whoa. And then I met somebody else. I said, yeah, I guess they're having an inner child journey here. Yeah, you need to go. They could see something, like you said earlier, Arlen, that we couldn't see. A lot of times people are our mirrors back to us. And we need to listen to that. We need to listen when people talk to us and say, hey, I got a suggestion for you. So I went into this inner child journey and several things happened in there. But one of the main things that happened, Arlen, was I lost my victim story. I went into the inner child journey going, I get to tell my Jehovah's Witness story, the story nobody else has. and I'm ready to do it. And I got in there and we broke off into groups and I started telling my story, right? And so I said, this happened to me and that happened to me, and I was a Jehovah's Witness, and and then after that, this other lady told her story. It was worse than my story. And the guy after that was worse than my story. And I said, shit, I don't have a story. Well, I looked around the room and there were 300 people that probably came in there to tell their story. People have been raped by their dad, this, that. It went on and on. Right then, that was the end of my victimization. I said, you know what? I don't have a story. These people have a story. But I realized those same people with that story, if they continue to make the story the last chapter in their book, then they're not going to get well. And so that was a stage one. And then at the end of the inner child journey, I liked what you said in your Patreon earlier, but when we went into the inner child journey, they said, imagine you as a boy running down the aisle and he's running over to you. And so I imagined I had this little teddy bear and I said, it's running over to you and it wants to sit on your lap. Put it on your lap and embrace it. And I started bawling. I started crying because I realized I was out of touch with my inner child. And I embraced it. And then they took us back through all the stories in our life and all that and unraveled them, right? We let go of balloons and this is your story. We're going to let it go now. We went through all these exercises. But the biggest thing, Arlen, was at the end. I told you my dad never told me he loved me. 90% of the guys, their dad never told them they loved them. They never said, I love you, son, or anything like that. So at the end was the coolest thing, Arlen. You know what they did? They had you come through a birth canal. It was like people holding their hands up like this, people on this side, and they were going like this, and you were going to walk through this tunnel. And all the people were what they told you to say before you went in is they said, what would you want us to say to you if you were being born? What would you want us to tell you? And I says, say you can't wait for me to be here. You can't wait to see who I am. You're going to be an author. You're going to be this. So anyway, I gave them all these things, and these people wrote it down. So you're walking through this tunnel, and you're walking through, and they're going, we love you. We can't wait for you to get here. You're going to be the most wonderful author and all this stuff. And then at the end, there were two parents, and they were crying, and they were holding a birthday cake. You were talking about unhealthy parents and healthy parents. So I got to be rebirthed into this healthy parents, and they were so excited to see me. I wasn't an unwanted child. I wasn't someone that says, damn it, we made a mistake. How are we going to feed this idiot? Oh my God, we need to get on birth control. No, it was, oh my God, what talents does he have? What's he going to bring to the earth? And these two healthy people were standing at the end of the tunnel waiting to embrace me. And they handed me a birthday cake, and I was bawling and crying. And so I got to experience a different birth. So the inner child journey was part of a huge transformation for me. And here's another one too. You remember I told you I thought Jehovah was angry?
Yes.
Well, they told everybody in the group, they said, hey, what did God look like to you when you were young? Now, remember, this is 300 people. And I said, well, you go over there and you play God and you be mad. And then you have two people in front of you and you're reading the Watchtower and Awake. And, and we're out here trembling, like this. Well, when I saw the metaphor that God was angry, I thought, why is God angry at me? When I stood back, first I cried. And the facilitator says, why are you crying? And I said, why is God mad at me? What did I do? Why is he so angry? Why is he going to genocide everybody? Whether you're a Christian, whether Jehovah's Witness, Jesus is going to genocide everybody, or Jehovah's going to, why are they going to genocide their own children? At that point, when I saw that sculpture of Jehovah, the Watchtower, and us in the back row, that was the end of needing a mediator. I don't need people with a Watchtower. I don't believe there's an angry God mad at me. That inner child journey that I went on was just what you said earlier in your Patreon. It healed me. I was healed from religion. I was healed from that part of my dad not being able to say he loved me. I went back through all my life, all the different transformations and things that happened, and I healed. And I stopped telling my story. And that's what I want to say to people today, Arlen. The world is looking for a whole you. The world is looking for an alchemized you, an anointed you, enlightened you. And the same spirit, I'm going to say it one more time. This is important. The same spirit that woke you up will not abandon you, but you can abandon it. And how you abandon it is where you put your attention. Now, when you come out of the matrix, okay, you were sleeping in the matrix. It wasn't bad, was it? You were kind of asleep. This is just the way life is. You know, we go to meetings or whatever it is. We go to this job, or I'm in this abusive relationship. It's just how life is. And so you're kind of okay there, right? You don't know anything else, right? You're kind of at peace. Now, like in the movie Matrix, right? What happens? Neo says, or Morpheus said, do you want the blue pill or the red pill? And Neo says, I want to wake up. Okay, when you wake up, you will wake up. When you take the red pill, you'll wake up. You'll pop out of the religion. You'll pop out of the relationship. You'll pop out of whatever matrix you were in. But here's what you're not ready for. You're going to pop into the matrix, the reality, but now you're going to be awake. And when you wake up out of the matrix that you were sleeping in, you feel powerlessness. And you see all the ugliness. It's like the guys were talking about on your Patreon. They were saying, oh my God, I feel like I'm being watched. I feel like I'm being, chased after traffic. What did they call it, Arlen? That word he was using where they were kind of following him?
Gang stalking.
Yeah, stalking, gang stalking. They're like, I'm being stalked. I'm being this, I'm being that. And it's real. It is real. And you're abandoned now. The family's throwing you out because you don't agree with the religion. So now you're awake, but now you see the darkness. Now you see all the stuff. So you've got a couple choices. And here's what I want to tell people. You've got a couple choices at this point. I started to go victim, Arlen. You've started to go victim, right? You start to feel sorry for yourself, right?
Yes, I did. And it was like the world, like waking up to the matrix and what this world is, that even brought on another level of victimization. See, that's the thing. That's what we have to be aware of during this time period, is that new level of victimization when you wake up, right? Because then it's now I have a reason to be, even more angry and feel victimized by the world because I see all the darkness.
Yes, and you haven't had your frequencies built up. You're not powerful yet. You're like Neo. You're like, you see the agents. And they're powerful and they're big and they're many. And those are all your inner, lower attractor fields. You don't have courage yet. You don't have your voice yet. You can't speak. You don't have it yet. So it's got to be built up. So one of the things people can do is you can ask the Spirit, you can ask the Holy Spirit. If you don't like Holy Spirit, you can ask your higher self. You can ask God, you can ask whoever. I don't care who it is, Kuan Yin, whatever. Buddha, ask whoever, what the hell woke me up? Why did you wake me up? And where are we going? And you'll get some answers. You'll be led to this channel. You'll be led to books. You'll be led to different understanding. But you've got to put on your seatbelt, because the old matrix is not the new matrix. The new us has to be made new. And different understanding has to be implanted, and the old has to go. So there's a dying, on one hand, of everything that isn't God, everything that isn't true. And then on the other hand, the sun within us, the anointing, the illumination is getting brighter at the same time. So as one's receding, one is getting exceedingly brighter, unless, and this is important, unless we get out of our head. Unless I gotta say, I've seen so many people stop by being a victim. And I believe there's a time to tell your story and there's a time to let the damn thing go. And so, yes, we are over empowered. Yes, we don't have power when we come out of the matrix, right? If you remember Neo, he had to be plugged in, right? We're going to give him new skills. So in a sense, like the Holy Spirit, right? I need help here. Okay, we're going to get you courage. Okay, I need to get my voice here. I'm getting beat up. Okay, we're going to give you voice. And so as you watch Neo, he's learning karate. He's learning this. He's learning to elevate. He's learning to move all these things. And I want to say something about that movie, Arlen. You remember Bruce Lipton? You remember what he said about it, right?
That it's a documentary.
Yeah, he said, this is not fiction. This is a documentary. And it is. But what I can tell you from my experience and what I've learned so far is that we do get more powerful. It's an energy field that we're inviting in. But if you don't look to that, where your attention is expands. If your attention is on the problem will get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. That's why, like you said in your thing earlier, Ireland, in your Patreon, that psyops are to make us feel powerless. Psyops are to make us feel hopelessness. It's bigger than us. They're bigger than us. It's the agents in the story The Matrix. They're big, they're powerful, they move faster, they're quicker. But it's only because you haven't been quickened. And I want to say right now, Arlen, you've said it earlier too, that right now is the time for quickening. Right now, for whatever reason, there's a quickening spirit. Look at the people that are waking up. I was surprised that Jehovah's Witness on your show. My God, that guy was smart. He literally planned his way out. He didn't just leave like I didn't, bumble my way out and, go through all the things I did. He planned it. He sent letters to all his friends and all of his people. And I mean, that's like amazing. And he had thinking ability. And I'm like, holy shit. So the reason for that is, Ireland, is right now, there's a time. Right now is the time for the quickening. There's a quickening. We need to be quickened. We need to become anointed. You know what I mean? I and the Father are one. There is no separation. And so that's what we're all moving into. If this illusion of these infrastructures are to be dismantled, we have to become all that God meant us to be now. So we can ask to be quickened. We can ask that this old temple that's been ruling us, this inner temple that's made of sand, or that's made on man, or that's made on government, or that's made on pharmaceutical, or that's made on religion, we can say, crash this temple and build in me a new temple, the temple of truth, the temple of integrity. And so as we surrender, and it's not, I got to tell you, it's not comfortable surrendering positionalities. Because when you surrender positionalities, your life now has no structure. But like Dr. David R. Hawkins says, that don't worry, because as you surrender, the greater is becoming greater. You're actually making room for divinity. There is no room for divinity in a made-up mind. There's no room for a new idea. If your belief systems are collapsed in, this is what I believe and this is what it is, then you just live from that. But when you start to collapse some of those belief systems, now you're opening up to infinite possibilities, like the Matrix with those green lines coming down. That's what's trying to come into us. There's a matrix of infinite possibilities. But if we're lost in the matrix of our past, if we're living in our past, that's where we shut off the present. Or if we're worried about the future, we shut off the present. The power is in the present. And so that's would be my advice, Harlan, is that yes, we were in a matrix. Yes, we've been hurt. Yes, we've lost a lot. Yes, we've been married, divorced, and married. Yes, religion is stolen from us. Yes, we're being drugged. Yes, they're spraying shit in the air. Yes, yes, yes. But who are you? Who we are is more powerful than all of it. We just don't know it yet. Like Neo, at the end, you saw the last Matrix movie. In a sense, he was the savior because he came into it. He sacrificed himself, right? He threw his whole self in. There's this big explosion. He actually merged with the Dark One. He goes, okay. And when he did, he sucked the energy into that vortex of his energy, and wham! It was like a major bomb, that went off,
Yes, yes. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're ending those old timelines and we're anchoring in, like you said, like the new codes for the new earth, right? That's our true alchemy power that we're using to create the new heaven on earth, to create these new realities that are aligned to our greater power, right? But you're so right, where it's like we do have to say goodbye to our story. We have to, move. I will say it's part of the process, like we said, to be in that victimization, to be in that part of awakening, like Neo when he first saw, oh my gosh, like it's so much, it was almost overwhelming. But then again, it's like to really make the jump into the new earth, right? These new realities of greater possibility of your infinite power. Yeah, that's when you have to say goodbye to that story, and you have to start training. Neo had to train. We have to train like these masters. We have to train our mind. We have to understand, how this reality really functions. That's all the stuff I teach, right? My dad teaches, so that we can really take back our true power as alchemists over matter itself, right? Mind over matter. That's what Neo was saying. Is the spoon bending, or are you bending the spoon with your mind? So that's what we're tapping into now. But they want to, that's the process that can, again, like my dad said, be halted in this story, in that stage of awakening, when we don't really claim our true power and we get overwhelmed. So yeah, that's our message for you guys today. Don't get stuck in the story. Don't get stuck in the victimization of the world and thinking that these beings, these powers to be, have any control over what we're tapping into, because we are overriding all of it. We are tapping
That's
into
right.
power that is untouchable, true sovereignty, true God power, true
Yeah.
anointing, and it's happening faster and faster. Just claim it. Claim
Yeah.
your power today.
Yes, and I just want to say, Arlen, there was a time not long back. I'm not going to say it long, but there was a time not that long ago where life was very good. Life was very prosperous. There was a lot of money, but I was in hell because I was in that lower nature. I was in, that thing where I wasn't sure. I just got spit out from religion. Now I'm in a time where out here really sucks, right? It seems like America's going like this, all kinds of stuff, but I'm doing really good because I'm in a different place up here. So that's the alchemy. And the alchemy will keep you here. And that's why it's important right now. The dark forces are trying everything in their power to keep us in the illusion. The illusion is to tell you what you're not instead of who you are. So good point.
That's so true. It's so true. Yeah, like I said on my Patreon, they can, whatever happens out here can't control what's inside of me, which is my connection to God at all times, truly. So it's like all this stuff has to come up, has to be released. It looks chaotic, it looks crazy, but we're the eye of the storm, we're the eye of the hurricane out here. That's what we,
Yeah.
and then we transform energies, we tap into these higher realms, like David Hawkins says, divinity, and you just get drawn, naturally through experience, in a divine way. Things just happen, miracles happen, things just unfold for you.
Autonomous, he said.
Autonomous.
Automatically, autonomous. It just unfolds and it's like blessings. And so, but it's part of, like you say, you feel yucky, then you feel good, then you feel good, you feel good, then you feel yucky. That's the work, Carlin. You said it. If we don't work it, if we say, oh, hell, it's too much, that's what it will be, too much. But if we say, I'm willing, and Hawkins said that willingness was 850 on his consciousness says willingness. I'm willing to be this new person. I'm willing to be made whole. I'm willing to come out of the illusion. I'm willing to have all God wants me to have. And if we'll do that, if we'll put just forth, he said, it's not much, just willingness. So I'm willing. That's part of it too. And that's the thing I want to say. If someone isn't willing, until they become willing, I can't care more about somebody than they can't care for themselves, right, Ireland?
Yes.
If I'm caring more about shit that other people are than they do themselves, then I'm being codependent. So I have to be this observer to say, does he care as much as I do? Does he want it as much as I do? When I was coming out of the matrix, the lady that was working with me, she's like, if you're not going to be vested in, then I'm not going to work with you. And so many great therapists have said that. If the person is invested, if they were just sent to me because the court sent them here because they're trouble, I'm not going to work with them. There's a very famous therapist. He said after his 50 years of stuff, he says, if this person don't want to help themselves, I'm going the other way. And so all we got to be is willing. We don't even have to know the how, right, Ireland? We don't have to know the how.
Exactly. We don't have to know the how. We don't have to try to figure it all out. We just, like you said, we have to be willing, have courage to move beyond, right? These lower attractor fields of the lower astral, because it really is hell until you move beyond and have courage to say, I want something greater than these old 3D realities of, just honestly, like a lot of it was hell, a lot of it was really dark stuff we were dealing with. I'm not saying it wasn't meant to be, it like transformed us, but it's like now we're really wanting to tap into the power now. Now we're like, okay, we got the information. Also, Morpheus says it's one thing to know the path versus walk the path. So now we have to walk the path, and that takes consistency, dedication, and that's all that I promote is really doing the work and what that work looks like. So if you guys are interested in joining the Patreon, we do the work. We actually dig deep into what we need to heal, transmute. It's mastery training in the Patreon. I really take the time to teach you guys Ascension mechanics, how to navigate and how to access your true power. So the link is in the description if you want to check out that video. Thank you for coming on, Dad. I'll be putting all of my dad's links, Facebook group. He has an amazing Facebook group. What is it called again? A Matrix of Abundance.
Matrix of Abundance. Yep.
Matrix of Abundance.
And if they need some religious healing, they can go to Life After Religion.
Life After Religion. Perfect. Yes, I'll link that below as well as the other social media links.
Angela's Inspiration. She has a whole thing on her book, Awakening from Unconscious Resentment. Really good book too. Same thing.
That's a good one too, especially if you've been a codependent. You want to check out that book as well. I'll link Angela's book below. Awakening from Unconscious Resentment, that's what it's called?
Yeah, but it's on Amazon, and it's only a couple bucks if they just want to download the Kindle version. I mean, it's amazing read. It's life-changing. It's your story experientially of transformation, of coming out of the matrix into reality, and then facing reality, then moving through it. So
oh, you guys are amazing. I'm so proud of you guys for alchemizing all of these timelines. You guys have popped out greater. You guys are teachers now. So you guys are true examples of what happens when we move beyond this story and into our greatness. So thank you guys for doing your service work and being here on the planet during this beautiful time of ascension. And thank you all for watching this video. Please put a like on the video if you enjoyed this transmission. Comment down below anything you have experienced moving out of the matrix, moving beyond victim. Affirm now. I let go of my story. I affirm my greatness now. Let's set that strong intention out into the universe, into the quantum field today.
And I did get back with the Loaves of Eden. And I did get back with the tenfold. And it's the same story as Job. He lost everything and then he got tenfold. So that's what happens if we just willing. It's all it takes.
The meek shall inherit the earth. The meek shall inherit the earth. So have a good rest of your day, guys. I'll see you next time on my next video. Namaste.